سبحان فالق الإصباح.
Allahu Akbar!
Ding dong. Hello?
Yes, that's right, infidels. You found us here, channelattitude.com, Hamin Media Group, where you get the most real talk, the best reviews of all your favorite wrestling shows from AEW and WWE, Impact, and more, because we're going to break it all down with the best staff in professional wrestling at HMG. So you don't need to go anywhere else, because there's no 5 stars here. There's only $5 face slaps, infidel.
Allahu Akbar!
So sign up today, channelattitude.com, Hamin Media Group, and join the Hamin Army for the most real talk in professional wrestling. YOLO!
This is Channel Attitude. Your voice, your right, your freedom.
Hello everyone and welcome to the show where after the collision we sift through
The Wreckage.
the wreckage. I am your host Jimmy T. He is my co-host, the best in the world, Jamie the Vet Williams, and we are live on Hamin Media Group's YouTube channel and of course on channelattitude.com after the fact. Vet, it is Dynasty weekend. Are you hyped?
Oh, so I can't possibly contain myself. First and foremost, I want to apologize in advance for my internet. I'm sure there will be some issues throughout. I will do my best, but as usual, it's not my fault.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not you, it's me, and if it's not me, it's you. So, you know what I mean?
And by me, or you referring to me, it basically is saying Comcast they can be one of the biggest companies in the world and still nothing works right. So
Get your shit together, Comcast. God damn it, man. I agree with you, man. I'm with the biggest provider here, for example, and they still can't get their shit right most of the times. You know how I go. You know how many times I fuck up, for crying out loud. Although I've had a decent run the last month or so.
Things
thank
are good
God.
for now.
Yeah, for now, but we'll see. Anyway, Vet, like I was saying, man, we got Dynasty weekend tonight, as a matter of fact. I guess we'll cover that next week. And then we had Dynamite and, of course, Collision. Man, after all the hoopla of the week when it comes to some sort of wrestling news, and I'm going to ask you this, I'm just going to get straight to it instead of even looking at the news, because I want to ask you, tell me, did you see all the hoopla between Booker T, DJ Vlad, and of course Swerve Strickland?
Nope.
Oh God, this is the most bizarre sort of thing that's happened during the week. You've heard all the reputation, of course, about DJ Vlad, right?
Who is this?
Oh, you don't know who DJ Vlad is?
Should I?
Maybe. I mean, well, look, put it this way: he's the biggest culture vulture, probably in the history of hip hop. I'll say that, and heck, a lot of people even say he's a federal informant. But basically what he does, he interviews rappers first and foremost, and has so for years. And it's one of the biggest platforms in terms of, interviews with rappers. But now he's also interviewing wrestlers. So, you know what I mean? I didn't think he was a wrestling fan, but I guess he is. So, he had Swerve Strickland on his show last week. And Swerve went to town. And this is the thing about Vlad. Vlad has a tendency to get people to say too much and then cause, sort of stir the pot to the point where everyone falls for his shit. And then they say things that they probably shouldn't have. And in saying that, Swerve basically called out Booker T. He pretty much called him an Uncle Tom without saying, what's up?
That was incident 1.
Right, exactly.
No, I mean, as far as the internet fucking up, I saw it. But since I wasn't talking, I guess it wasn't affected. So, all right. So he called Booker T and Uncle Tom?
Without using that terminology, but basically said, how could he sit there back when, do you remember when Vince McMahon said, what's up, my ninja, to John Cena back in 06? And, Booker's like, tell me you did not just say that. You know what I'm talking about, right? Obviously. He pointed out to that incident, called out Booker T basically, and said, are you all right with that? And blah, blah, blah. Book got pretty upset about this. He took him to town basically on his show after that with Swerve. He was angry, dude. I mean, he was very pissed. I'm not going to sit here and say word for word, but basically Booker T confronted Swerve at some sort of wrestling event in Virginia last weekend or something like that, and basically told him how he feels. And he's calling Vlad a liar. Then Vlad's calling Booker a liar. It's getting ugly. It's ridiculous. Book has receipts, but they're kind of half receipts because he says, I rejected going on Vlad. But the truth is, he kind of didn't. He went to the interview and Vlad turned up late. So Book said, fuck this. I'm out of here. I don't want the interview anymore. And that's that. So what the hell's going on? What do you think about all this? There's a lot more to it, though, Vet, and I don't want to even bore you to death about it, you know what I mean? But should Swerve have shut his mouth, basically, or does he have a point?
Well, unfortunately, my internet cut out again, so I didn't hear some of that, but apparently... Damn. So, what did Swerve say? So
Swerve basically called out Booker T, saying... Are you all right with basically people saying the N-word, in particular Vince McMahon?
Okay, so Swerve pointed to that skit.
Right.
Okay. Did Booker say something first?
No. So basically he's calling out Book for allowing that shit to happen in front of him. And letting Vince use the N-word.
Look,
but in saying that, Book also said he paved the way for Swerve and others. Obviously, that's African American, and he should shut his mouth because if he was on a movie set, I just want to give you a bit more clarification. If he was on a movie set, for example, you're gonna hear people saying the N-word, and you're gonna just deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like whether you like it or not, because it's a movie. Instead of being like, today's generation is all about like victims. They're all victims. They all play friggin' victims. Let's be honest, all across the board. And Book is calling him out on that shit. And so look, I'm probably not even saying it well enough. If you check it out, you understand more. So it's probably hard to get your opinion. Mm-hmm. But cut a long story short, do you think Swerve said too much? Should he have said anything? And should he have called out Book?
I don't think anybody should call out Booker T.
I agree.
Especially unprovoked. So exactly. I can only assume that if Swerve did this, it had to be because at some point or maybe several points in the past on Booker T's podcast, he said some things about Swerve that Swerve maybe didn't appreciate, or at least felt, oh, well, he said that about me. Okay, I'll take that. And then the first chance he gets, he'll say something else. So maybe Booker did say something, just not, it didn't get clipped, it didn't appear in any of the news stories of the week. Maybe somebody had the week off Reality of Wrestling podcast listening, so they didn't make an article for Fightful or whatever. I don't know. Speaking broadly, I'm a big fan of minding my own fucking business. And anybody that follows me on social media knows that. nobody can comb through my timeline and find anything that I unprovokedly went after somebody with. Or you can even find, if you went back deep enough, you could probably find people trying to engage with me, and I just like their tweet and move on. I do not care.
Thumbs up.
The only time I've ever done it was to Joey Janela, but he blocked me, and
Really?
that's fine. Yeah.
Got some balls, Joey. Oh, there goes the vet again.
Okay, I was doing that to Joey Janela because his shit was so bad it was embarrassing the entire business, so I just clipped it. And I also didn't appreciate the fact of the way he talks, which got him punched by Dylan Bostic at a convention or whatever.
Right.
But I don't like the way he talks about. It's one thing if Joey Janela's, like if he looks how he looks, he wrestles how he wrestles and all this other stuff, but he was like a humble guy. But quite often I hear him talk about how soft wrestlers are. And that bothers me when a soft person calls other people soft. And so like when he did embarrassing stuff on pay-per-view, I would like clip it and then I would like tweet it and I'd tag him and be like, whatever. So the first time I did that, he made some, it was the shittiest thing I'd ever seen. And he made some excuse about how he had been injured recently and just came back and all this other stuff. The second time he did it, it was like him getting savagely beaten up by Kenny Omega, but instead of selling it, he just kept brushing the hair out of his eyes. And I just tweeted that clip and said, "Just sell, motherfucker," in all capitals. And that's what got me blocked. But those are the only two instances you'll see of me doing this. And I think we can all agree as I tell those stories that is way, way funnier, truer, and better than Swerve calling out Booker T for any reason.
Well, Book actually on his show said, "I've done nothing but praise Swerve," and then he played shit about him, what he said about Swerve, as a matter of fact. And he did. It was all nothing but praise. So he didn't understand why he came at him like that. But that's what Vlad does, basically, with everybody.
Just try to stir it up for
right, he
for
stirs
views?
it up,
Okay.
and everyone falls for it every fucking time. And then they get upset and calling him a federal cop or whatever, right? Because they throw themselves under the bus. Do you know what I'm saying, bro? So,
Yeah, and I also think we should move this along because it's getting in silly territory now.
well, that's exactly what it is, silly territory. And he did confront Swerve last week about it. So I just want to throw that out there. But anyway, so I just wanted your opinion on that. I'm surprised you didn't hear about
And
it.
Zane says Hall of Fame podcast. I think I said Reality of Wrestling podcast, but I mixed that up. But
It's
hey, look,
practically the same shit.
no. That's what I want. I want Zane Vicious to correct me if I need to be corrected.
Well, he's Mr.
It don't
you should
bother
change your
me.
name.
I'm not gonna go on Twitter and at Zane Vicious or whatever he's calling himself this week because he corrected me on a show. I ask him to do that.
Yeah, no, of course, man. He corrects everybody as he should. You should. You know what I mean? But but still, you should change your name to the corrector Vicious or something like that. I don't know, but still, he always keeps us accountable. Clearly. Let's see what other news was going on. It's been kind of quiet, to be honest, Vet, this week.
Good.
I did break down quite a bit on the Smack Attack with myself and, of course, the Professor. The Professor, where we had a great show, which you can check out on channelattitude.com because it was already taken off YouTube pretty much straight away.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, right away. But yeah, man, I mean, there's really, oh yeah, I want to ask you, is Kevin Owens' injury legit or is this a work?
Nobody would miss a WrestleMania payday on purpose. So if he doesn't show up at WrestleMania, then it's legit.
I see what you did there.
Very, very simple.
That's perfectly put. Well, before we move on, I just want to acknowledge the chat anyway, since we acknowledged Zane. And first, I want to welcome, of course, the labbiest of lab rats in Lab Rat. And before they were still testing, what were they testing on you earlier? Was it Linda Hogan still, or was it someone else? I can't remember already. But he says, let's get on that money rat train, all aboard. Choo choo. Bearcats. What up, bro? Thank you for joining us again. The darkest of dark sides, it is Dark Side Caster saying, Wreckage. Thank you, my brother, for joining us. Of course, also Zane Vicious saying it's a celebration because it is Dynamite. I can't believe that song, dude. I mean, seriously. We've also got Liz in the house saying, hey, guys, I'm only... Whoops, I nearly headbutted the damn mic. I'm a quarter dead today. Yay, antibiotics, lol. Well, I hope you're feeling good, man. I hope, and also you're in, the Ohio area. I hope you're not in the middle of that tornadoes or cyclones, whatever was going on, man, over there. Because it's pretty bad. I don't know if you heard about it, Vet. I'm sure you have.
Not really, but...
Oh, it's pretty bad, dude. But speaking of cold, we got the coldest of bloodeds. Or is it warm-blooded? It is cold-blooded. There you go.
You did it on your own.
I did it on my
Very
own.
good.
No little FX, nothing like that. But he says, morning, friends. Good morning to you, my friend. And who else have we got? Am I missing anyone else? Oh, we got, hey, look who's in the house. It is our very own John Enright saying, what's up, players? It's been a while, John.
Man.
I've missed you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for
John
joining
in
us.
the house. What's up, John?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, did I mention Jay Hall?
Well, just mention him again.
I'll mention him again. If I didn't, here it is. And welcome Joanne Hall also.
We can get 3 cheers for Jay Hall. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray.
Hip, hip, hooray, indeed. And of course, the biggest Vato Loco in the house in J12. Thank you for joining us, brother.
¿Qué tal, Holmes?
Yeah, que pasa, Holmes. And that's that, I think, as far as the chat goes for now. And yeah, so you say if he doesn't turn up, and I'm talking about Kevin Owens, obviously it's a work or a shoot. If he doesn't turn up, it's a shoot.
If you tell somebody, we would like you to work Randy Orton at WrestleMania, they're not doing it.
I agree. True.
So it could be like a little bit of a swerve, but we'll see on April Easter or whatever.
I don't know if you noticed, I don't know if you watched SmackDown totally, but some
Not
fan
all of
called
it,
him
yeah.
out. Well, someone called him out apparently, and you could see he got angry, dude. Some of us called him a phony, bullshit, you're not hurt. I'm only assuming, speculating. He turned around, they were head to head, man, with his fan, and then the camera just cut away and never went back to it. So I wonder what happened there.
Could have been a work. Who knows? I didn't see it, but the fact, even the fact that if we're talking about this guy that's serious, needs neck surgery, but he made the show.
That's true. And to be fair, what about his matches with Cody and, of course, Sami Zayn? Yeah, his head went through all sorts of ladders, dude. Honestly, I don't know if it's his fault, but he takes some crazy bumps, man.
It is his fault, and he always has. He's the one now. Okay, you know how we always talk about guys like Darby Allin? It's like, well,
right.
There's nothing you can do, right? Or some idiot like Jon Moxley. Well, it's just how they are. Kevin Owens is not that. Kevin Owens does that, but he doesn't need to do that. Kevin Owens has enough talent in every other area that he does not need to do those things, especially not anymore. I can understand when you were younger in Ring of Honor and you were trying to make a name for yourself and get to the WWE. Now that you're there, you no longer have to do that. So I know that even if he likes it, that's not his role anymore.
Especially
and if he worked for me, I would definitely sit him down and tell him that. And Jim Cornette has always said that the worst thing about Kevin Owens was trying to get through to him because he didn't have to do those things, but he wants to do things his way.
He does come across as the stubborn type.
Yeah. And I think with those kind of people, I mean, you always need to be, when you're a coach, like legitimate sports coach, you have to know how to reach each of your players because they're not all the same.
Right. Some
people need tough love. Some people need a more gentle approach, and some people like it somewhere in the middle, like, just be polite, But it's to be a good coach, you have to be able to do all those things.
And it's not
to be a great coach anyway. You could be a good coach and still say my way or the highway, but I think to be a truly great coach, you have to know how all of your players will respond best to instructions. So Kevin's a guy that you probably have to work on a little bit more because he's stubborn, but you have to convince him how what you want him to do is even way better than what he wants to do, but you're both going to get the result. You're going to get an even better result. You have to convince him that for Kevin to get what he wants, you have to do it this way. He thinks he'll get what he wants if he does it this way.
Right.
But if you do it this way, you'll actually get what you want. Right. That's how you have to talk to people like that. And I know this because Kevin was, I remember them telling him and Jericho, I think they each told a story about, well, no, I mean, I saw it. Remember that match they had, the Festival of Friendship, that turned into the WrestleMania match they had?
Absolutely, man.
And I remember I remember watching that match and I was just like, this match sucks, and a lot of people liked it, but I thought it sucked because, well, whatever, the reasons don't matter. But
it was back then.
But I remember they showed some footage of him like backstage, this is for one of their documentaries or whatever. And it's after that match when, Kevin comes back through the curtain and Vince is there at Gorilla with the glasses on and everything. And Kevin was like, was that what you wanted? And Vince looked at him and was like, no. And Kevin was like dejected about that. Because he didn't understand. He went out there with Jericho and had the same fucking match that he has with everybody where he takes a bunch of crazy bumps and whatever. And he doesn't understand that, that's not, sometimes having that same match is not what you need. You need to have different matches for different angles and different opponents. You can't have the same match every time just because you're taking some epic bumps,
No, it's not
so
about
he still hasn't necessarily learned that. So hopefully someone could get through to him, especially if this injury is legit. You got to start thinking about your family, man. You love your family. We all know that. So start thinking about them and, stop, risking your life for basically nothing when you already make millions.
Well, exactly. Well, the speculation is apparently he's got some sort of neck injury, which it didn't even look like I don't know, man. But anyway, apparently he's got some sort of neck injury that could, more than likely, require surgery. And if so, he could be out for 2 years, apparently. That's the speculation going around. And I say that again, speculation, allegedly. I don't know if it's true or not. That's just what I've been reading. And if that's the case, dude, at his age, I think he's 38, 39 even, maybe. I mean, to return at 41, say, if he's out for 2 years, I mean, it's a bad time, man, I think, at that age to actually even return, let alone wrestle again after all that.
He'll be all right.
We'll
again,
see.
he's got to do it. That's why I went on that long tirade a minute ago, because you have to understand you're not that guy anymore.
Right.
At 41, you can be the guy that you're supposed to be. At
Absolutely.
41, you can't be the take a bump through ladders anymore.
No.
That guy is you were supposed to let that guy go in Ring of Honor anyways. But, Kevin Owens has never been in I didn't watch him in Ring of Honor really, but I don't have to, because I already know where Kevin Owens peaked. And I don't mean peaked like he's washed now and he can't do this again. I mean, he's the best he's ever been was when he first got to NXT. That is peak Kevin Owens. Yep. There will never be a better Kevin Owens than that unless he gets back to that somehow. Which he can.
Tough. You think?
He can. Yes, he can. But you have to become more of a punch kick type wrestler and not worry about these crazy moves and shit. Kevin Owens has always put a lot of emphasis on moves and bumps. And he still doesn't get that that's not why people like him. They really don't. They like him because of his attitude first and foremost.
Exactly. Right, exactly.
Right? And when that's one of the hardest things to get people to like about you. So when you get that as a wrestler, you are gold for the rest of your career.
Especially
because you
in
can
WWE.
always work with that and change it. You can change your attitude, whether you need to be a babyface, you need to be a heel, you need to do this with this guy, this with that guy, you need to talk to you need to be serious, you need to be comedic, whatever it is, the attitude and your ability to get on the microphone and talk like that, that's the holy grail for any.
Oh,
am I back?
You're back. You're back.
I'm back. If I was saying if Kevin Owens can if he no, I think I lost my train of thought.
Oh wow, that's rare. That hardly ever happens.
I might get it back later, but
I know what you're basically alluding to, but Josh actually says he's 40 now, so 42. If the rumors are true, that's when he'll be back. That's crazy, man. I can't believe he's 40, still doing this shit. But like you said, you're basically alluding to like his promo game is the be all end all basically in pro wrestling. That's all they, especially in WWE, that's what they really care about compared to taking bumps on ladders and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't need to work that way anymore, especially at the fact that he can talk and he's got a presence about him. But I think he looks at himself like, oh, you know, I'm out of shape, blah, blah, blah. Oh, Zayn says he'll be 41 in May. Damn, 43, say. But anyway, I think he thinks because he's out of shape in his eyes, right, that he has to do all this shit just to get noticed, even though he really doesn't need to do that because he's very good at everything else anyway. But that's just him, I guess, man.
I remember what I was going to say. It was...
Oh, go for it.
It was the reason that he can't stay a heel, the reason he keeps going back and forth is because people like him too much.
Right.
And I think he's at the point now, I think Randy Orton's also at this point and a few others, the equity is so high that you can't be a heel anymore. Nobody will believe you. It's just silly. Same thing with CM Punk. Talk about turning him heel at some point. You can't do it. The people just want to like these guys, so let them. Let the baby faces that have this equity. Let the Ortons, the Punks, the AJs, you know, like all those guys that are like, or you know, Orton, all those guys that are like older and beloved and like we're giving them their flowers now when they're still around and not retired. Like, let those guys take a younger group of heels and help them get over as heels, you know, and let them be hated now. And then after enough time, they'll be able, maybe hopefully they'll have that equity to where they will never get booed again. And they can be the next crop of baby faces, beloved heels or beloved baby faces that bring up the next generation. That's how we're supposed to pass the torch. You're supposed to give a hand up to the next one. And the way you do that is by being so fucking over that actual rub means something.
Yeah, I know who gives rubs anymore these days, Vet? Really?
Or when they do, it's like a half-ass, not the talent, but the office saying like, oh, well, just working with so-and-so will get you a rub. Well, no, not exactly. Because you have to keep both the people strong enough that when they work together, it has meaning, right?
Absolutely.
So
100%.
I you know, this is way too deep for a fucking AEW review show. I wish my internet weren't fucking up, but this is like definitely a broader topic that I don't think gets talked about hardly at all, at least not in the podcasts and the, you know, Great Wrestling Veteran podcast that I listen to. I don't hear them talking about it. And they're the only ones that are qualified to talk about it, really. I mean, I'll throw myself in there just because nobody else is doing it. And I am the best in the world.
I ask you these questions, Vet. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you're the best in the world. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not the best internet in the world. And knowing you, I know you're going to get frustrated on this show because of your internet. And I know you hate that. But don't be hard on yourself. I'm just telling you from now, man. It happens.
No, I'm not hard on myself.
Yeah, but you know,
but I am
like,
mad at the internet provider. I can do that,
and I can see that. That's the thing, and I know it. But But anyway, yeah, look, it is way too deep. Maybe one day.
Wait,
well, not one day.
Wait,
but-
let me address this so the artist shows up. I love how the artist comes in and just says stuff. He says CM Punk can actually come across as a heel based on his natural dick attitude. He just doesn't want to showcase it. And he shouldn't. And the people won't buy it anyway. Because in 2025, artist, what do I always say? What's the best way to get over as a babyface in 2025?
It's being the heel.
So if CM Punk goes full heel, they'll like him even more. They'll be like, yeah, that's the CM Punk I wanted. Not all this, is it good to be alive on a Monday night in Sheboygan? Like, they don't want that. They want heel CM Punk, and he's not going to give it to him because he knows that, it won't work. At least I'm sure he knows that, but hopefully the office knows that too. It's just, you can't turn him heel. They don't want, he's been gone too long. They don't want to not like him anymore. So they'll just cheer him.
Well, Zane says something half interesting. He says, well, maybe professional wrestling will be rebooted to where being a heel actually means something.
No, can't.
No. It's
toothpaste out of the tube, Zane. Sorry.
Oh, well, man. That's
the only way you can be a heel anymore is by working people like Ricochet does,
You do it better. Well, yeah, that was that. And one other thing I wanted to ask you about work or shoot, and then we'll move on to actually the Wreckage. That Wreckage. Everyone's crapping on about, did you see the Charlotte Flair, Tiffany Stratton situation?
You mean SmackDown?
On SmackDown, right.
That part I did see. How bad was that?
It was bad. It was cringe, actually.
The way Charlotte tried to say something at the end and like, nope, too late, you blew it. You can't do that.
Do you think now, this is very half and half. Do you think this was, did Tiffy go off the cuff by mentioning her divorce, 0 and 3? And when she mentioned it, funny enough, she ran off, dude, straight away. Like, literally, that was the end of it. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like that was a receipt for what happened the week before where Charlotte just destroyed her on the mic, if you remember that incident, where Tiffy was like, she didn't know what to say. You know what I mean? And now this time she got petty.
Actually, that would be 2 receipts because there was I think you're talking about maybe, was it 2 weeks ago? Because
maybe 2 weeks ago.
I feel like last week they did like a backstage interview where Tiffany said a bunch of stuff uninterrupted. That was like the first shot. And then this was like the live shots. But here's the thing. Tiffany's part was still 100% scripted.
I agree.
Somebody knew that she was going to say that. Now, if Charlotte knew, that's a different story. But this leads to a lot of why questions. First of all, if this is how you wanted to treat Charlotte, why did you let her do that to Tiffany in the first place?
If they let her do that in the first place, to be honest.
Right. But I mean, this is like, first of all, well, let's talk about Tiffany for a second. Let's take everything. Let's take Charlotte, set her aside, go over here. Tiffany Stratton sucks. I don't know if everybody else is caught up to this, but I've been watching her since basically day one. And she's not that much better than she ever was. In anything. Not in the ring, not on the mic, nothing. If anything, she's gotten worse over time at certain aspects.
On the mic, I think she has.
Right. And that could just be part of the production. Like, they're giving her, they don't know how to work with her as well as maybe the first group of people that were helping her out with the promos and stuff. NXT may have had some better people with her on that than they do now. Who knows? But yeah.
Oh, the vet is frozen again. I'm sure he'll be back. There we go. Oh. Vet,
what was the last thing I said?
You were just about to touch on, we were saying how she's regressed on the mic.
Okay.
And yeah, we were about to get into it.
I said she can't go off the cuff. She can barely go off the paper.
She definitely can't go off the cuff.
So, right. But I also think it's weird to take those kind of personal shots that people don't know about this stuff. They know, but they don't. You know, like all those kids in the arena don't know how many times she's been married or whatever. Like, and what does that have to do with the wrestling match either? But
I know it's petty, dude.
Yeah, but it's like you guys put yourselves in this situation. You chose Charlotte to win the Royal Rumble.
And that's where the heat comes from the fans with Charlotte.
Yeah, you chose her, but then you sent her out here for a receipt. And also, if Charlotte's so great, that's the best you can do when somebody's got scripted material. You can't go back at them if you're going into business for yourself all the time. You can't do any better than that. This whole thing is just a mess.
It's a mess, dude.
It's a bad idea to who is Tiffany Stratton fucking, first of all?
Well, she's fucking the German man himself.
He don't have any power, so what's going on there? He ain't even on TV.
Wearing the same clothes, dude. Did you notice that?
Yeah. Who like Liz says, besides him, like who's
Yeah.
or who likes her, who's trying to get her to break up with Kaiser? Who's back there? Because she's getting way too much way too soon. And she's we're just talking about identities and like Kevin Owens and equity and who wants to get cheered or not, right? Charlotte does not have that equity because she is fucking unlikable, right? That's why she should always be a heel. But they keep trying to make her a babyface, tone deaf. Tiffany Stratton's character, there's nothing likable about her character. I don't know what she's like in real life. She's probably a nice girl, but
is she though? 0 and 3 though, Vet?
I don't know anything about Tiffany. So
neither do I, right?
So I don't know, but her character.
You're back. You said you don't know nothing about Tiffany.
You just say you're back and then I'll continue.
All right.
Tiffany's character is a stuck-up rich girl. So what's to like about that by anyone? I mean, even stuck-up rich girls don't like each other. They're in competition with each other. So how is she a babyface in any of this? But they keep trying to, they try to make her one, right? So it's just, this whole thing is fucked.
You know, Cold Blooded said earlier they should just scrap the match altogether. Would you consider that? I know they won't, but would you consider doing so, considering how much of a mess this is getting? It's getting worse and worse week in, week out, to be fair, dude.
Nah. I don't know. I mean, you could, I guess. But I don't know.
I do think there's some sort of heat between these two women somewhere. They don't like each other. You can see it, dude.
Well, look, let's put it this way. Charlotte has a history of not playing well with others, right?
Facts.
Now, and some of those people were her friends.
I know. Becky Lynch is a perfect example,
Is
right?
she friends with Tiffany? No. So do you think that she's going to be as nice to Tiffany as she even would have been with her friends?
No.
Yeah, and not only that, not only is Charlotte, it's not a question of like, oh, backstage, like Charlotte doesn't like these people and she's rude or whatever. But when the camera,
aggressive, dude.
Well, I mean, like that's not only that,
right?
Like we've heard that there was a lot of like, talk about her attitude and everything backstage. But if that was only it, that'd be one thing. There has been multiple instances of her unprofessional bullshit being televised. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm thinking of like when there was like a TLC match where Kairi Sane got concussed and Charlotte started stiffing her because she thought she wasn't listening.
I don't remember that, but really?
That's where she lost, like, wow. Charlotte lost all her points with me. Like, I don't give a fuck what anybody says about Charlotte. She's a piece of shit. So fuck her. But even even after that, that was when that was the whole Becky Lynch thing where she like throw the belt at her and all this stuff.
And that was one of her best friends, for crying out loud.
Right. And for what? You know? Like, now I get it. Trust me, I get it. Your whole family's screwed up. I get it. The ones that are still alive.
God.
And that's the thing. Like, you clearly don't want to do this anymore. And I think that your promise to Reed has been fulfilled. You made it to the top of the business.
I know.
You did that for him in his memory. Yep. That was a very nice thing of you. Very commendable. You did it. You made it. You don't want to be here anymore. Get the fuck out. Please. Please.
I know. Facts. She's holding people back by just doing this shit, man. For real. No, you're right. And I'm glad you said that, man. I'm so happy you said that because she's just so like, I don't know, man. I really dislike her right now too. Look, I don't know her personally, but just judging what I see in here, she really is a piece of shit of a person, man. And I don't know. We'll see, man. She's pushing 40 now, I think, nearly. I mean, she looks 50. Honestly. We're older than her and we look younger, dude.
Also, she's never been good enough at anything to justify any of this behavior.
Interesting.
Like, it's one thing if, like, you know, when Shawn Michaels was an asshole and when he was, like, causing a bunch of problems for everybody and giving Vince McMahon headaches and all this other unprofessional bullshit that he was
good,
doing.
Though. There's a big difference.
Yeah. He was, like, the best wrestler there was.
Absolutely.
So even though that's not an excuse, at least in some ways he was still trying to be
You're back.
Am I back?
You're
okay.
back.
He was trying to be professional when it mattered. Charlotte's never been particularly good.
You think she's overrated, actually?
Oh, that's an understatement. She's not good in the ring. She's not that great on the mic. She's just Ric Flair's daughter, and she's tall. So whatever. That's all you good. There's been worse people than her, sure. Is she good for a volleyball player? Yes. But nothing that
You're back, Vet. And don't worry, we'll fix this post-production anyway, dude, so don't even stress about it.
I don't think you can.
But, yeah, I can fix this easy.
Well, I don't know, but I don't even know what anybody's heard anymore, what I said, but
no, you're saying she's overrated. She's not that good.
She's not good enough that we would have missed her if she had never been in wrestling. Let's put it that way.
I actually agree with you. Funny, I actually do. You know, it's funny what Liz says. Not funny, but interesting. She says, I think Charlotte was truly a product of her environment, and I think the only way she'll ever be happy or in a healthy environment is to be out of wrestling completely. I mean, she could be onto something.
Yeah, but if she leaves wrestling, she'll have to spend more time with her personal life, and that doesn't go well either, so who knows?
Jeez, man. I hope... Yeah, and I worry about her as a person, honestly, once she leaves professional wrestling. And I hope she doesn't think stupid shit because really she said herself, she's got a lot of mental issues, dude. And I don't think her mindset is anywhere near like being back in WWE. I think she needs to just go away and maybe quietly retire or whatnot. I know she loves the spotlight, but I think this is too much for her to even handle anymore, dude.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, normally I'd be sympathetic with somebody like that because I understand how hard it is. I'll never know what it's like to walk in Charlotte's shoes. But I also know, first and foremost, as a wrestler, you're supposed to take care of your opponent, and I will never forgive what she did in that match, ever. Anytime I see a wrestler do that, the gloves are off as far as I'm concerned, and the sympathy doesn't go out the window. I don't normally just call wrestlers a piece of shit on the air for no good reason. So
no, you don't. No, that was well put, man. That was well put. Well, Vet, I think it's time we sift through that Wreckage And unfortunately,
if I
start
can
talking
stay on the air.
AEW. Yeah. I mean, seriously, the WWE stuff right now is actually more interesting to talk about than actually talking about AEW. But we're here to talk all things AEW at the end of the day. And I'm just pissed about one thing, and I'm just going to say Jay White, and we'll talk about it when we get there. I'm so pissed, bro.
Well, that's where we're starting out. So, it's Dynamite. It's Wednesday. You know what that means.
Of course.
That means we're getting Mox and Marina versus Willow and Swerve. And as they're making their entrances, that's when we learn that apparently Jay White was attacked off screen by the Death Riders.
Right.
And he's out of the Owen.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the way you'd like to find out about it?
Not me. Personally.
This company that films all kind of stuff, like people's houses burning or people breaking into houses and torturing babies in cribs, or
drinking
like
blood,
Jungle Boy committing vehicular manslaughter, or like
via real glass.
Yeah, real glass. All this stuff that they will show, but we just have to hear that Jay White got his hand broken in an attack. Oh yeah, that happened. What?
I mean,
you're not gonna do a pre-tape for that?
It's lazy, dude. Again, idiots. But speaking of not lazy,
yeah, the opposite.
Cold-blooded. $5 with the super sticker. Thank you once again, my friend. You're the man, as you always are. Thank you once again. But please, Vet, continue on. Why are they so lazy?
I'm not sure. The only thing I can think of is that they maybe... No, because I was going to say maybe they found out late enough they didn't have time, but then you didn't have to do it at the beginning of the show. You could have
waited for Collision even, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he was there on Collision. So what?
And he done a great promo, actually. I'll say
so,
that. But
I don't know. But whatever. Let's just say it sucks. It sucks that it happened, and it sucks the way they handled it. That's maybe there was reasons, I don't know, but that's how we find out. We have to admit it's not great television for the announcers to be like, "Oh, by the way, Jay White got attacked."
And not just
like,
that.
First of all, he wasn't even going to be in this match, so why now? Yeah, I don't know. All right, so anyway, these idiots, and I'm talking about Mox and Swerve, right? These two idiots. Right. And I'll call Swerve an idiot because he, he's an idiot. He's kind of an idiot, and he also
starting to become real.
Yeah, even too. And I just learned this morning that apparently he went at Booker T. So idiot.
What? Oh yeah, of course, right.
Yeah, you told me.
What we were talking about before, yeah.
So they start the match off hot by brawling outside the ring, right?
Yep.
Okay, makes sense. You guys don't like each other.
Very hot.
Hot brawling. Hot
brawling. I like it. That's
hot,
good.
Sweaty brawling, right?
You're right.
And then I swear, Jimmy, guys, I swear to God, they literally get in the ring and start doing leapfrog tackle.
Professional wrestling, Vet. From killing each other on the outside to just straight up wrestling. You love it. I mean, come on. Look how excited you look.
You got to laugh to keep from crying.
Dude, see what I mean? Already, it just said, I know with me, already was just checked out. Like completely from the start of this show, dude. The second they mentioned Jay White and not showing us anything to this garbage that they continuously do week in, week out, where they work from the end back. Do you know what I'm saying, dude? It just doesn't make sense. I mean, how do these guys think they actually know? And they're pro wrestlers, right? Yet they don't even understand how to fucking formulate a friggin' match properly.
No.
I don't get it.
No, they don't. Sorry. So anyway, when I see that, I immediately say, fuck this. And I just wait for the end. Which is Willow gives Marina the Dr. Bomb, 1, 2, 3. And then afterwards, Moxley's like stumbling around like he's selling, like, this guy's selling? Why? Why now? He's like stumbling around like he's disoriented, and then he bumps into Willow actually twice, but let's just pretend for the sake of argument that he got her the first time like he was supposed to, because this guy fucking sucks at everything. And then he does the whole like, oh, I'm going to grab you out of instinct and give you a DDT. So he gives her a DDT to Willow, and all the people in the arena are selling this like somebody died in the ring.
So
and
stupid, man.
They forget that like 2 minutes ago, the finish was when Marina pushed Jon Moxley out of the way and Swerve hit her with the house call right in the face.
Yeah, right.
But they were like, oh, that's fine because whatever. So yeah, but Jon Moxley gives Willow a DDT, and that's like, you bastard. Of all the things you've done, this is by far the worst.
She's like, she was paralyzed, bro.
Right.
She was done. It wasn't even like, it was a soft freaking DDT as well, dude. I mean, honestly. Didn't even look
I can't believe.
like,
Yeah, who sells a DDT anymore?
at least she did. I'll give her that. And she sold it pretty well too, man. I'll give her that. Because it looked like she was paralyzed practically, dude. And she was just talking, like, you know, to the trainers and whatnot.
That's way too much respect to show to Jon Moxley's DDT.
Fuck him, man.
This woman's gone off stages through tables and stuff. Forget his DDT.
I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. And it's already checked this out, and this is the first fucking match of this show.
Yep. So it can only go downhill from here. Which, funny you should say that. Funny I should say that. Renee and FTR and Paul Turner.
Oh, wow.
Hollywood Axe, the Axe Axon,
Hollywood
would like to offer a public apology to Paul Turner, and he's got a check for the $10,000 fine. He wants to pay that directly to Paul. He wants him to take his family and get a nice dinner or something. I don't know if normally league fines go in the ref's pocket. You know, like if the NFL fines a player, I don't think they give it to the referee that threw a flag. Just don't think that's how it's work. But I just,
fucking company,
you know,
man.
Yeah, just, you know, so anyways, so he makes his apology to Paul. Paul walks off with the 10 grand. He's happy. Then he focuses on Cash Cashin, or as he called him, Dan. So I guess he's serious now because we're using shoot names, right?
Yeah, well, right.
And then yeah, so then Axe goes in
down.
Yeah, Axe apologizes, says we're brothers and everything. He goes in for the kiss. Cash says Cash Dan. Danny Cash says no kiss.
Daddy Cash, I like it.
Danny Cash.
Oh boy.
Daniel
man.
Cash. Daniel Cashson.
Cash.
His real name is Daniel Cashson.
Daniel Cashton. I mean, seriously, man. Do these guys look dopier and dopey friggin' as the weeks go on and on in 2025? They're so getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And to think I kind of liked FTR many years ago.
You're a fool.
I know. I got played, dude.
You got played. You're a fool in a man's shoes.
Yeah, but hey, they're never my favorite tag team, Prof.
Yeah. So the funny thing about FTR is because they have like body hair or whatever, like we think of them as like older than they are, but they're part of this dumb generation too.
They are, man.
You know,
they literally are, very much so.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like Axe only looks 50 because of the stupid mustache and he's bald, but like, you know, he's not that old.
What, dude? You know, he used to look a lot worse before he was bald, right? Have you seen him the way he used to look before he cut all his hair off?
No.
Dude, he looked like he was straight out of the 70s. Straight up. He had long hair. He was feral looking, dude. I'm telling you. It was an improvement once he shaved that hair off and grew the mustache. I'm not kidding.
Well, I believe you. We get our first look at the brackets for the Owen. We can see here. Another wild card now in this tournament for Hang Person. Hang Person draws the wild card this time. I wonder who that's going to be.
It's probably going to be disappointment. Whoever it is. I mean, who can it possibly be? Would it be a new signage? Or would it be just someone in AEW already?
Yeah, why make a regular person a wild card? That sucks. Got to be somebody
And why
brand
does he
new.
always, have you noticed in tournaments, Hangman always gets it easier? If you know what I mean? Like
No.
you might have a pass, like a
No, I
buy.
would have had to pay attention to notice that.
Oh, well, no shit. Oh, yeah, Josh Alexander, actually. Josh, you're right. It probably will be Josh Alexander. Didn't he actually sign, I think?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
100% it's Josh Alexander. Thank you.
Here's what we need,
Josh.
another bald white guy with a beard.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm not a big fan of Alexander's, man. I don't know, bro.
Yeah, well, I don't think AEW is going to get much out of him, but he definitely started, you know, his I guess his big knock was his, you know, not a great promo, but he definitely cleared that up toward the end of his TNA run. So we know now that he can do a promo, but are they going to let him do a promo on AEW? Probably not.
Not really. Yeah. It doesn't work that way, brother. Well,
Now
this is another boring dude.
Yeah, he's another boring dude. Now on the women's side,
cold blooded with the comment of the day. The wild card should be the wild man, Mark Mero.
look into these eyes.
Oh boy, sorry for cutting you off there, but
He's
I had
gonna
to
bring
point
his
that
wife
out.
with him this time.
Probably
A new
not.
wife.
A new wife.
The women don't have a wild card in their tournament, but we do have Athena and Monet on the same side of the bracket, so they can't meet in the finals.
Are they trying to be smart by doing that?
Who knows?
Is that their way of smart?
Smart.
Yeah, I did that on purpose.
Wicked smart.
Smart.
Tony versus Penelope.
Oh.
It's nice to look at.
But that's it. That's where it ends.
Storm Zero.
And
Then, you know, Megan comes out and poses.
Which is great to look at again. But other than that.
All right, Renee is with Swerve. She wants to get an update on Willow's condition. It looks like she's getting a massage. She's like face down on a trainer's table with somebody like rubbing her shoulders. It looks like she just needs to work out a little tension. Not that she got DDT'd to death.
Oh, man. She's dead, dude. She nearly died for crying out loud. Didn't you see how devastating that DDT was? Come on.
I did.
Here comes the bane.
So they're trying to massage her back to life, is what you're saying.
Yeah. It works, apparently.
Radical EMTs they have there. Anyway, Swerve promises that he's going to get Jon before the night is over. He promises.
Sure,
That's
George.
a promise, Jimmy.
Don't promise.
All right, MVP and Lashley. They come out.
I like this.
Yes. MJF joins. He makes an appeal to Bobby Lashley. Says, hey, you know, I understand that, you know, you don't like me, but hey, we all can do some stuff together and, you know, we can help each other, yada, yada. Bobby rejects this pitch. But everyone leaves under their own power. So it's a atypical AEW segment because nobody got beaten up. So
not only no one got beaten up, but didn't we see the same bullshit practically the week before?
A little bit.
Yeah, with a different variation of the same thing.
Yeah, they're advancing it step at a time.
Right, but in saying that, I actually did like this segment. It was probably the best thing of the whole show, really, and that's how high the bar is, right? I mean, let's be honest. Yeah. I mean, I'm a fan of all these guys anyway, to be fair, and I'm intrigued. Where they're going, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure if he's going to join, but even if he does, it's going to be typical MJF, and he's going to turn on them because he's going to use them as a stepping friggin', you know, as to go up another step.
Well, speaking of that, the Learning Tree comes out because they have a match. And
I like these too.
Yeah, they cross paths with the Hurt Syndicate. They actually, I think, is this the one where all this stuff runs together? Is this the one where Big Bill offers Bobby Lashley a chair to sit and watch?
Yeah, this is the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't sit in it, but they do kind of stay. And
they were impressed too.
Yeah, the the Learning Tree beat up 2 guys. I don't write their names down this time.
Don't even ask me. He forgot.
Yeah. And they got a golf clap, for winning. Nice polite golf clap. And a thumbs up from Bobby. Bobby gave him a thumbs up. And then Bill cut a short promo, So
yeah, basically he said they want a shot for those tag titles at Dynasty. MVP was about to say something, but then Lashley grabbed the mic off of MVP, said, basically he was waving, saying, don't talk. Drops the mic. They walk off, gives a thumbs up. I don't know if that means, sure, we'll give you a match, or nah. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I don't know.
Or good job beating up the 2 guys that combined don't weigh as much as I do.
Exactly. So I don't know what this means. Are we going to get a match? Maybe, possibly. I mean, Shelton Benjamin couldn't make it due to the weather conditions.
Right.
And so that's why he wasn't there. But what does this mean? Are we going to get a tag match for those belts come tonight on Dynasty?
Probably, because nobody ever doesn't get what they want. When has anybody ever said, like, hey, I challenge you, and then it just never happens? It always happens. Right, and that's part of the problem. I always get the sense that none of these pay-per-view cards would even happen if it weren't for the wrestlers doing all the booking themselves. Is somebody in charge of this show or not?
I mean, I don't know anymore, Vet. I mean, shit.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, you're right. It will be a match for sure.
All right. Next is Renee and Monet, and we're going all aboard the Money Wrath train.
Choo choo.
All right. More on that later. Ospreay and Kevin Knight versus Blake Christian again. Blake Christian and Shotty Lee.
Why? Shotty Lee hadn't been around for years, it felt like, at one stage, right? And now he's back again. The same as Blake Christensen, man. When was the last time we saw him except for Ring of Honor on an AEW TV show? 2 years ago? Other than recently?
I mean,
seriously.
If it's on Collision, we always...
Yeah, well, whatever.
I mean, maybe not Shotty, but, other Ring of Honor people.
God. Cool, I don't care about this shit. I hate saying that, Vet. I feel bad saying that, man. I really do.
So anyway, Kevin Knight beats Shotty Lee with a springboard something or other.
Springboard something, that's what that matters.
It just looked like he flew at him and knocked him over, and that was the finish.
He flew at him.
It's definitely not Kevin Knight's finish. That's not what he uses for a finish, but it was, I guess he felt like he didn't need to spend anything else on Lee Johnson. So,
well, do you blame him?
No. Shivani comes in and he tells them what they should already know, because we saw the brackets, but it's Shivani's out here saying that Ospreay and Kevin Knight are going to be opponents in the first round of the Owen Hart tournament.
Ooh.
It's like, so wait, they didn't know that already coming out here? Because
I guess
I saw it. I saw them showing it to us. Remember the bracket? They showed us.
See nothing, Vet. Right?
Yeah, they were 2 in the zone for their match.
You must have been astral projecting or some shit.
Yeah. Well, they had to study all the tape on Lee Johnson they could, because so they pulled up the AEW Dark Elevation YouTube channel, and
is that still existing? You can watch all the previous episodes?
I think so.
God damn.
All right. Well, speaking of those guys are going to be opponents at Dynasty first round.
Right.
And speaking of ops, the ops are going to be at Dynasty too. They're going to be watching. They better not catch anybody lacking.
Shit.
Is that also youth slang now? Have youth taken this word lacking that's been around for hundreds of years, and now they're acting like they discovered it? Is that
yes?
Is this
lacking instead of slacking.
Okay, just making sure.
Zane Vicious laugh saying "Harvard."
Brody Lee versus Lance Archer.
Oh boy, 2 meatheads. Should be excited, but not really anymore. I'm not.
No, and we know who's going to win too. That's
right. Exactly.
They just found a bigger loser than Brody Lee. Literally bigger.
Fuck. Ah, man. Well. I mean, I feel bad for him, but I don't anymore. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I just don't.
Of all things, a lariat wins this match for Brody.
Lariato.
Yeah. Not his
Good old
weird,
lariat.
like, pile driver, like, thing.
I
His
don't even know
greetings
what
from
that is. What
Asbury
is that?
Park or whatever it is.
Oh, what? It was Bam Bam Bigelow again?
Yeah. Isn't it that?
No.
Wasn't that his move, Zane?
Yeah.
Zane, I'm
it
looking
was.
your direction.
He will answer it. But anyway,
Okay.
it doesn't matter who won this match because it's going to be irrelevant because you know who's going to lose the week after to a little dude.
Is he? Okay, Zane
Oh,
says
yeah,
yes.
for sure.
Woo.
And there you go. He said yes. So there you go.
He doesn't have to yell at us this week.
No, apparently not. Apparently
least
Jimmy
not
got
too
caught lacking
much.
according to him.
Yeah, lacking. We're lacking.
We're
Cope.
lacking.
Speaking of lacking, Cope versus Claude. Okay. I have in my notes right here. Okay, you can't see it because the glare.
Wow, it's totally
I'm
white.
not going to turn my screen brightness down for anybody, but what I wrote was, and I quote, skip to spear, which I did. I just skipped.
Good
I'm not
man.
watching these guys. I'm not. I'm just telling you.
You know what was going through my head? We
What's that?
hurt people. I was still just jiving to hurt people. I mean,
We hurt
again,
people.
yeah,
We
that's all that
hurt
was
people.
going through my mind. I mean, God, man. Again, I should have done what you did. Unfortunately for me, I just was glaring at it the whole time. And like Darkside Caster said, get dark mode vet.
Can you have dark mode on a notepad? Like, does the
can.
notepad app have dark mode?
You
How does that
can,
work?
actually. Yes, you can. You got a Samsung, right?
Yeah, let's see.
You can do it, bro. Because I do.
Yeesh. Right. Well, can you see it? Can you see it now? You still
Now
can't
I
read it.
can, clearly, bro.
Still can't quite read it though. Let's.
No. If you held the still, I probably could. Or if I
there's all
paused it,
kinds of
like
colors
after
on
the fact.
All right. Well, whatever. I don't need to. It's
Yeah,
fine.
you don't need to get into it. That's a lot of writing for fucking this shit.
Yeah, no, seriously. I wanted to point something out. One of the things that I love about us here at HMG, and specifically me, is the transparency that we
Right.
provide here. Like,
Absolutely.
a lot of people, I feel like they review shows and then they don't really watch them. But we come out and just tell you when we straight up didn't watch it, right?
Oh,
And just
all
like
the time.
now, when I said I'm dragging this, as soon as I see a spear happen, like that's where I'm stopping. I'm not gonna watch it. There's no point. I've washed my hands of both these guys. Again, like, you know, I said, when there comes a point where I'm done with you, right?
fucking hell.
With Edge, it was the jump off the top and break your leg thing. That was the last straw.
Jump off the
So he
top,
lasted
break your
longer
leg.
than a lot of people.
True.
With Claudio, it was when he did
The
the
brass
slingshot. Huh?
The brass balls that he was trying to reach all these years.
No, he was in a match and he took a slingshot bump. You know, the slingshot where they like, you know, they fall backwards and
Yeah,
you
the
go
slingshot.
flying.
They call
Yeah.
it something else these days, but I always call it the slingshot. The catapult. That's what they call
someone
it now.
gave him a slingshot and he flew and he was supposed to hit like the steel post, and he actually hit it with his teeth and knocked his teeth out.
Oh, I remember that. I do.
Yeah, like on the fakest bump in wrestling, this man knocked out his own teeth. And I just said, you're a mark. And I after that, I could never take him seriously again. So anyways, but this is all just to tell you though, that like, yes, I honestly did not watch their match. I skipped it, but also funny enough, talking about FTR and how they suck. And, you know, there was a match they had, I think last week, the one with the Undisputed Kingdom.
Oh yeah, yep.
And we were just both like, yeah, we didn't watch this shit. We didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
But it's sad because apparently a clip from that match went viral for how many botches there were in the space of 90
really?
seconds. Yeah.
Oh,
Because I
damn
heard
it.
people talking about it all week and I still didn't watch it. But
Yeah. Lucky we
I didn't even watch the
it,
clip.
actually.
Fuck that. But
Exactly.
but yeah, like we missed out on some content for that. But that's why I feel it's much more important that we always be transparent with you and tell you guys the truth. We would never lie to you. We're going to tell you, damn right we didn't watch it, and we're proud of it. Whether it was the power of the phone, the power of the nap, the pillow, whatever it is. Yeah.
The power of the nap wins every time. And hey, he keeps me on my toes just quietly because he knows if I haven't watched something and if I try to lie about it, he calls me out on it.
Mm-hmm.
And you have called me out on shit plenty of times. So that's how transparent we are. There's no point of lying about it. We'll just say it. If we didn't watch it, we didn't watch it. Simple.
Yes. Well, I watched this. Renee finds Swerve backstage trying to get another update on Willow.
Gee,
who else
desperate
finds
now?
Yeah, who else finds Swerve is Hang Person? And they have a
Of course he
moment.
did.
Now, I'm not going
I'm
to lie
over
and tell
these
you I
two
remember
guys.
what they said. Do you remember what they were talking about before they almost kissed each other?
No, I actually don't remember what they said, and I remember most of the shit that was said on this show, but every time Hang Person's around, and now I look at Swerve even a little weird. I just don't care. Why do we even need to see these two again and again? Is this because it's a blood feud vet, so-called
Literally.
blood feud of AEW?
I mean,
yeah.
Swerve ingested his blood.
What does that make Swerve?
A vampire?
I guess it does.
Yeah. Maybe he should have had Gangrel come and help him.
Actually, do you remember? Actually, funny you bring that up. Thanks to Mr. Copeland, right? By jumping off the cage, he cost Gangrel possibly a spot in AEW.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying though. That's how fucking selfish this guy is. But anyway,
Oh, I'm sure he didn't mean it.
I'm sure he did. Oh, clearly he didn't mean it, right?
Well, he could. Yeah, I mean, it's not his fault. I mean, Tony could have just brought Gangrel in to cover all of Cope's dates while he was recovering.
They could have, but they didn't. But Lone Wolf says, is that Jacob Fatu maybe? Nah, I mean.
No, this is just a lone wolf. It's not a werewolf.
Oh, not the. You're right. Swerve and Hangman are blood brothers now. They are, but they should be called the Blues Brothers at this point. I mean, seriously.
I think they said it was something that Swerve said took Hangman Page, like it took him aback. Like I guess Hangman was yelling at him like, "You better beat Jon Moxley, like you better fucking beat Jon Moxley, you piece of shit," or something. And he's like, "I know," or something like that. And Hangman was like, "Oh, I didn't expect you to agree with me," or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember.
They're friends
exactly.
now.
Well, they both hate Jon Moxley, and why wouldn't?
Oh
they?
well, who doesn't?
Not enough to really team up and get rid of him once and for all, but
Maybe they'll kiss eventually. That's how much they start to like each other. I mean, who knows?
right. So anyway, Swerve found
Friends are
he was, Swerve was found by Renee, then he was found by Hang Person, then he was found by security, then he was found by the Death Riders, and then he was found by a bucket of glass. And
Was it real glass?
who knows? He certainly wasn't crying a river because he didn't sell it. He just got up. But
Wow.
but that's exactly the entire. This
Sums
is
it up.
why when you do this stupid shit, it doesn't work for pro wrestling. It just doesn't. Because if the Death Riders are supposed to be anarchy, chaos, like they do whatever they want, they don't give a fuck, they commit crimes, they kidnap people, they do all this stuff, they try to murder people on television, all this stuff, right? Okay, we get it. And now you have a bucket of glass?
Where'd that come from?
To quote Bruce Willis in Die Hard, glass? Who gives a shit about glass? You have a bucket of glass and you pour it in the middle of a wrestling ring and then give him a wrestling move on the glass?
Yes, that's how it goes.
What? Who cares? That doesn't hurt. The power bomb
Actually
hurts
doesn't.
more than any glass.
You're right.
The glass
It's
wasn't
true.
even all that broken. It was just sticking to him. Not sticking
Well.
in him like Moxley,
Stick it to him.
sticking to him.
Oh shit! You're on
No
fire,
blood,
bro.
really?
I
Just
mean,
No, all you did with this is you gave the people that have to tear down the ring some extra shit to sweep up now.
I know. How dare they? I mean, seriously. Maybe it's sugar anyway. They could just eat it. That'd be
Well, that
more
was
interesting
Dynamite.
at this point.
That was Dynamite.
Boom. Boom went the glass. Oh, yeah, this sucked. This sucked pretty bad, and it gets worse, Vet.
Does it?
Well, actually, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. But still pretty bad.
Well, let's see where it goes, because it's collision time. And
I got hurt. I collided into a lot of things watching this shit.
Was there broken glass involved? Was it real?
Yeah, there was. There was, actually. I've stepped on real glass. I'm not lying. I was barefoot, dude. I didn't realize there was a glass just on the floor. I literally stepped on it, man, and I was bleeding straight away. It didn't hurt, like you said. I remember just looking at D. I go, D, take me to the hospital now. I'm going to need stitches. To my shock, I didn't need stitches in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. When you get cut, like when something is so sharp that it can cut you with no effort, you never feel it.
No, you don't. It's true, man. I've cut
You
myself.
don't feel it till the wind hits it, and you're like, "Oh, I think I've been cut."
It's later on where you start kind of feeling it, but initially, no, it doesn't hurt at all.
Yeah, so carry around a bucket all you want. It's not gonna stop Swerve Strickland.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. So we're starting out with I guess we'll call this tag team Prototake and Power Stone.
I like Power Stone the game, just quietly.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be released on Capcom Classics Fighting Collection Volume 2 coming out in a couple months.
Really?
So, yeah, it's got Power Stone 1 and 2. So pre-order now.
I mean, I used to play it on Dreamcast, both of them.
Pre-order
back
now.
in the day. Yeah, cool.
Pre-order
I've got the first collection. I guess I need the second collection soon.
Pre-order now. So, what am I talking about? I'm talking about Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita versus Powerhouse Hobbs and his mystery partner, the Stone Pitbull, Tomohiro Ishii.
He's back.
All right, I'm finally eating. It's been an entire show, but I finally got something to eat. I don't even care what happens in this match because Ishii's in it. It's great.
Right, that's all that matters.
10
Just
stars.
Watch Ishii. Nobody else.
Yeah. Don Callis is on commentary. He's actually going to stay throughout the night. I thought he was just joining because of his guys were in this match, but he's actually filling in, so he's just doing color all night, and that's pretty cool. He's pretty funny. Let's see. Whatever about the match. Kyle Fletcher actually beats Tom with his own move, the vertical drop brainbuster, but at least he didn't do it on the turnbuckle this time, so.
Thank God. Someone must have told him stop doing that shit.
Yeah, probably Ishii. He's like, I ain't doing that shit.
Yeah, he probably no bump, me no bump.
Yeah.
Only on mat.
Sore wa chotto.
Arigato yarimashita.
So that happened. Then we get the crew backstage. They're gonna go have a little chat with Wayne, Nick Wayne. They're like, hey, you gonna help us or not? And he's like, no. And then Leo Rush's like, oh, I see you need your daddy's permission. Then he comes back and he's like, listen, man, I don't need anybody's permission. If I help you, it's gonna be because I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he wants to.
Yep.
He's a man now, Vet.
He's a real man.
A real man. A real man's man.
He squeezes his own orange juice for breakfast.
He's a man.
What were they thinking?
Remember that? A real man's man. Anyway.
Hey, I'm eating again because it's Max Caster doing his gimmick. Let's go, Max. You're the best wrestler alive.
Yeah.
And Mark Briscoe answers the challenge. So I get an Ishii in the first match. I get a Briscoe in the second match. Collision's already better than Dynamite. So to answer your question, if it gets worse or it gets better, it's already better. I said
it was a little bit better. Mm-hmm. But it started off actually pretty good. Honestly, it actually did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can always lose it.
But that's true.
But yeah, so Briscoe wins, obviously, because that's the gimmick. And we get a little preview for Ospreay and Kevin Knight match later. Not tonight, but whenever the tournament. Then we have Lexi with Switchblade with his broken hand. Yeah. And you said you liked this promo. He actually
done a great promo in this, dude, for once. And he was like low and high. It's like, because of Death Riders. You know what I mean?
No, the Death Riders was the low part.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because.
And then, yeah. I actually liked it, though, man. It was actually very good. I just hope he's back sooner than later. I don't know, how long do you think he'll be out for, actually? Do you have an estimate, you think?
Depending on, well, his hand is broken. Could be 6 weeks.
I think he'll be back under. He could be back in 4.
It depends. And you don't need a hand to wrestle, but it helps. So
well, yeah. It does.
And it was his left hand that was broken, so he's still got his chopping hand.
True. And I just want to call out also Liz. Liz put it perfect. The change in pitch for Death Riders got my attention. Absolutely. I loved it. Yep. We all loved it, actually.
Well, essentially his point was that the Death Riders will regret giving him time to prepare.
Yeah, whatever that means. Does he bring his boys back?
Let's hope.
Surely. Let's hope, because he needs it.
All right, next match, it's Crew, but they have the Koopa jackets. So
they do. What's up with that?
Koopa jackets are back. I guess I'm eating.
Kind of.
Versus Top Flight with Layla Gray dressed as a showgirl in Vegas for some reason.
So
I guess I'm eating.
Oh, well, I'm definitely eating. That's for sure.
Put Layla in the showgirl outfit with a Koopa jacket on, and that's almost like a full course meal.
Is that a double thumbs up then?
I think so.
Well, why is she a showgirl now? But WrestleMania is in Vegas. It's WWE, not here.
No. Don't know.
She's looking great too, man. Do you remember when she first kind of started in AEW? She was nowhere near as great looking as she is now. She's blossomed, dude.
Well, she was
good looking back then, but now she just, god damn.
Yeah, and if she was on TV, because she was missing for a while, but she's back.
That's true. She was back in OVW actually during that time.
Oh God,
I'm not kidding. It's true.
Anyway, they jumpstart this match because while everybody's looking at Layla Gray in her showgirl's outfit, Top Flight come from the other side of the ring and jump the Crew. So, okay, fair's fair. And then they have a match.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah. They have a match. Nice match, whatever. I wasn't watching. Not going to lie.
Nice match, whatever, but I wasn't watching. I like it.
But this was a weird finish. I don't know if I like it or not. Let's talk about it. So
let's talk about it.
Dante... Okay, Action Andretti picks up Darius, hits him with a Falcon's arrow, right? So now that means that Action is like in a seated position, right? Because it's Falcon's arrow, right? Sit out.
Exactly.
Sit out, Falcon's arrow. Then Dante comes up behind him, crucifix him, pins him off of an offensive move. Now I was thinking, have I ever seen this before?
I haven't.
Hey, all right. Okay. There you go. Nice creativity, fellas. I'll just since I ignored the rest of their match, I'll just assume they made it make sense. I'll assume that through all that match that Dante stayed the legal man and he was the right person to actually pin him.
Exactly.
Let's just hope that's the case. But
hope is a big word right now for this. But yeah.
But then Leo comes and he hits the heat back, which is fine because it's a tag team match and he's not the one that got beat. So of course he could just come in and, smear everybody. And then AR Fox comes out, like, even though the odds are technically even, but AR Fox comes out and he helps out his buddies. And then here comes Nick Wayne and hits the Wayne's World on AR Fox. So the heels celebrate in the ring? Do we have an uneasy alliance with Nick Wayne and no one else? Kip was nowhere to be seen. Luchasaurus still pneumonia.
I don't want to laugh at that. For fuck's sake, but
Christian's
the way you
just
said
gone. Mama's
Mama's
working extra shifts at the Waffle House.
Oh, is she?
Whatever.
I mean, I don't know what's going on. This is a bit of a. I'm confused still, though, Vet. I don't know what's going on. Say it is an uneasy alliance, or it's just for show, and then next week we're gonna forget this even happened.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. Literally, yeah.
Yeah. What do you want me to say? I don't know.
There's a whole bunch of really weird shit. It's just weird, but whatever. We'll see. But we've seen this match so many times already, though, and they love doing this match on Collision over and over and over and over and over again. I guess we'll get the same match next week again on Collision. Actually, I dare say it'll be a 6-man tag or something like that to main event it next week.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
100%.
That's exactly what it's going to be. It's the perfect setup.
Oh, God. Remind me not to watch that match.
Okay. I'll set an alarm to tell you not to watch
Yeah,
it.
please. You know how I feel about these stupid main events.
All right. So Lexi's with Jamie Hayter and Billy Starks backstage. And Jamie Hayter says, "Hey, I like what you've been doing." And she's like, "Except I don't know. Athena seems like she's not really respecting you. So you might want to keep an eye on her." And I was like,
Really?
"Yeah, Jamie. She should keep an eye on Athena after 2 years of this going on.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
She
like,
should start
really?
thinking about it 2 years in. Like, I don't know. We've been doing this for 2 years, and I think I should start paying attention to the way she treats me."
Oh my God, man! Why
The longest running storyline. This shit's longer than the Bloodline almost.
Just quietly.
That's like telling
news.
that's like telling Roman Reigns, like, "Hey, watch for Solo, man."
Watch for Solo. Well, I just wanted to touch on J12 said that match we're just talking about that I mentioned will be the main event next week. He's going to be on the 0 hour tonight. God damn it!
That's gonna put some pay-per-view buys in the queue.
That's going to make me buy. That's for sure. Not.
Are they sure they want to waste a 6-man tag on that and not put the big boom fat guy in a match again?
Is he going to be there tonight? Actually,
he should be the special referee for that. For Top Flight versus
and
Crew.
he can go boom.
Yeah.
And he's fat kid.
Yeah.
Needs a diet, man.
Yeah.
He's got bushy eyebrows too, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
I'm an asshole, man. I shouldn't say that. But anyway,
All right.
whatever. I don't care. I know what I'm not watching.
Yeah.
I never watch the pre-shows anymore with this company. Fuck that.
Pre-shows are fun.
Sure,
Because I like to
sure
see
they
I
are.
like to see what they're trying to use to get people to pay money.
Again,
Like that's interesting to me.
dopes. Yeah, but see how dumb are these people, dude? Again, you're gonna use that to actually, promote your show to buy a freaking pay-per-view that costs $50.
I wonder.
Great marketing team over there at AEW. I've said it over and over. There's no marketing team there. They just don't have one. This doesn't exist. They have no idea about anything in terms of marketing.
Well, speaking of have no idea, Renee is going to sit down with DG, good old DG, Daniel Garcia, and Adam Cole Bay.
Cool.
They have a
this
little, they do a little back and forth, and then they're like, "Can you guys excuse us for a minute?"
feud.
And they do the
But
same
why?
thing. Who did this last week when I called them out? It was the Hurt Business, right? Yeah, they
Right.
told Renee to get lost, and then they just left the camera there. No, it was Alicia. It wasn't Renee. It was Alicia. They told Alicia get lost,
Same
and then the
deal,
camera
though.
just stayed there. And they did the same thing. "Hey, Renee, other guys, can you just give us a minute alone, please?"
Because they got secrets to talk about.
Yeah,
Even though
not
the
you,
camera's right there and
cameraman.
the world's watching.
Yeah, and then they cut more of a wrestling promo. Who cares? All right, here's a match we never thought we'd see: Cash Cashin versus Pac.
Yeah, actually, it's true. And surprise, surprise, Pac won.
Sure did. with a crucifix. So that's
Yeah.
2 matches in a row. Someone was pinned with a crucifix pin.
AEW loves repeating their shit, bro. That's how you roll.
So
don't you
yeah,
see?
so the
what
story
they
of the
do.
match was Pac was watching the previous match and he's like, "Ooh, that's a good move. I should do that."
He said, "Ooh la la, I'm gonna do the same thing."
Yeah.
Just like they do when there's blood. The next match has blood too.
Oh.
Monkey see, monkey do, vet.
Yeah. Well, they're all monkeys and they're all
That's what I'm
all
saying.
doing it.
The whole lot of them, they're orangutans or some shit.
So what I noticed, previously I noticed when we were talking about Dax versus Yuta
Yes.
and how, like, even though we all know Yuta's small, but he doesn't look super, super small next to Dax.
He doesn't actually, no.
It's the same thing again here. I was noticing, like, we all know Pac is short. Like, we know that.
He's short. I've
Very
seen
short.
him up and close. He's very short. I'm way taller
Right.
than him, put it that way.
Right. And then he's basically eye to eye with Cash. And that's when you realize, holy shit, Cash is short.
He's short and stumpy, actually.
Short and just a thick slab of short man.
Thick slab of short man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm telling you, dude, they're tiny teams.
Yeah.
Short
So
and thick.
anyway, that's basically the most thing I noticed about this match. Also,
That's all you need to
right
notice.
before, the reason Cash was so easily crucifixed by Pac was that Yuta ran in, but Cash stopped him and gave him a pile driver. And that was enough of a distraction, him pile driving the kid, for Pac to sneak up and yoink.
yoink, yoink. And then it was over. Crucified him with a crucifix.
Right. And then
Yeah.
and then Cope and Axon both came in and got, shoot off the Death Riders and make sure there was no shenanigans. And then
Shoot him off, literally. Like,
yeah, and then they both helped up Axon, and everybody got hugs and kisses and
and then anyway, we won't go there. But
yeah,
they're all happy,
yeah. Everybody's big, happy, hugging, kissing,
touching.
Yeah.
These 3 guys. Seriously, I can't. Anyway, I'm not gonna say again. We already said it before as well. Short and stocky works for me now, I guess.
Does Shane Taylor Promotions work for you? Because they are sick of some stuff.
Well, they used to work for me, not for me, but you know what I mean. But it doesn't work for me anymore, brother. It just doesn't. They keep losing.
Well, this is what doesn't work for them. They don't like the ops walking around acting like they're all cool and stuff.
What's their problem, dude? Why?
Because that's STP's thing.
We're
We're the ones that are supposed to walk around looking all cool, but they never get any TV time. They give all our TV time to the ops.
Yeah, well, but they're the cool kids, dude. They walk around. No shit, it feels like school, this freaking company. It really does. You know what I mean? Whole bunch of bullies. The ops are bullies.
Well,
Let's
Hook,
be real,
Hook
bro.
literally has a backpack, so.
He does. He actually does. Dude, do you think Joe will actually have a backpack soon? Have you noticed he's been dressing a little better, walking around the back?
I like it.
I like it too. Very classy. Actually, go check out his interview with Chris Van Fleet. I'm just saying, that was very good. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
All right. Well, did you thoroughly enjoy Speedball Mike Bailey versus Drilistico?
Nah. You know how I feel about freaking Speedball?
You're against him?
Yeah, I can't stand him, dude. I told you, he's too, stop smiling, bro. I just want to slap him because he comes across, like I said. No, he needs to stop smiling. Stop it and stop doing this and shit.
He's a nice young man. No, that's his.
Yeah.
That's his. Come on. That's
I
his
know.
thing.
He's Karate Kid. I get it. Like,
So
seriously.
So
He
cool and
reminds me,
nice.
like I said, he looks like a real young Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, except Ricky was way better by a long shot
He's much wider than.
and much wider. That's true. And taller, possibly.
Um,
And a way better worker. I mean, it's not even, there's no comparison.
well, Ricochet's on commentary for this,
This I'm cool with.
and eventually, what's going to happen. So Speedball hits that kick on Drilistico. You know the one,
Of course.
the dancing one. He
Not,
hits
not
that
the-
kick on him, and then Ricochet comes in and hits that kick, the one in the balls, kicks him in the balls, and then gives him a spirit gun. So,
and it was done for the speedball. And Ricochet hopefully beats the speedball when they have their matchup tonight.
mm-hmm. And
Do you
Kenny.
think? Oh yeah, I forgot all about Kenny, man, for whatever reason. I don't know why, but
Whoever wins that match is going to have to beat 2 men.
and that makes him a real man's man if they do.
He's
whoever
going to be
wins.
squeezing his own orange juice for breakfast and everything.
Oh man, you know what? I'm looking forward to that match. Like, it's going to be a fun match. It's going to be Flip City, only because of Bailey being there. I mean, also look, they can work a wrestling match, but they're going to go all out for a pay-per-view, if you know what I'm saying. But I don't know if we're giving any predictions, but I just do want to ask you: do you expect Ricochet to win this match, or would it be Kenny? Or
Well,
do
we
they
already
throw a
talked about this
speedball
at
at
length
us?
last week, and I think we had a
Right.
much better conversation last week than we are going to now. So
Yeah, so fuck it then. Just forget about it. You're right.
go
There's
sign
no
up to
point in talking about it.
channelattitude.com and listen to last week.
Exactly.
Lexi's with Statlander and Rosa. They start out with words, get a little physical, nothing crazy. I think this is appropriate level of physicality for wrestling.
Yeah, appropriate.
Nobody got kicked in the balls. Nobody got a bucket of glass or anything. Just
Nobody drank blood.
it's a little light shoving,
Just a bit touchy. That's all.
And then we see Harley warming up with both the CEOs, puppet version and real version. And
There's
now
gonna
it's
be
time.
only one CEO, but in the end, dude.
It's time for our main event.
Yes.
Harley Cameron and Mercedes Moné versus Dark Julia.
Yeah.
And Athena.
Yeah. This match on paper looks sort of half good, if you get my drift.
And then it happened.
And then, yeah.
So what was wrong with this match? I'll tell you.
I could tell you. Oh, you tell us, actually. First of all, the other two of these women shouldn't have been in this match. That's for starters.
I'm going to guess which ones. And then,
please. It's hard,
then,
it's hard to guess.
well, here's an example of something I was just like. So Don Callis is on commentary, right? And he's like, he's talking about how he's like, Athena hits harder as anybody on the roster. And that includes the men, right? So he'll say that.
Stop
He's
it,
trying
Don.
he's putting her over as far as like her striking ability. So what
Right.
happens later in the match? Harley Cameron
Say it.
out striking Athena,
There
the
you go.
puppet lady.
The puppet lady, bro. The hologram of females.
Athena is selling for this idiot.
But wait, dude. Don Callis said that Athena hits the hardest on this roster, bro.
Apparently he was wrong.
Oh, he got the wrong woman because apparently it was Harley Cameron. That's the real boxer of this company.
Apparently.
She's got a hook on her, bro.
Yeah. And not only that, I mean, that was later in the match.
Right.
But when he said this, like at the beginning of the match when Callis was saying this, but Harley was like going toe to toe with her on the wrestling holds. Like just
She's-
reversing the arm ringers on Athena and everything.
Dude, come on. I mean, Harley is the woman with 2,000 holds. Don't you know?
No.
Well,
I
now
don't
you know. Oh,
Super
man.
Nintendo, Sega Genesis.
Yeah. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis.
Yeah, so that the psychology kind of sucked, but
Psychology. Yeah. All the way
I mean,
around,
what-
too.
I don't know. I just take it. Athena's on AEW. I guess I'm eating. That's the best way I can look at it. Like, I guess her psychology in
Apprehensive.
this match was bad, but at least she's there. And when things are
there.
more in her control, I would have liked to see her sort of like not put Harley over. Because I felt like Harley was just getting over left and right. And that's not your job. That's not her job. Harley's job is not to get over here. This ain't about her. So
It's all about feeling the wrath, though, as Cold Blooded said.
yeah. Yeah.
And Athena definitely felt that wrath, dude.
Yeah, apparently. So
Allegedly.
I wasn't a fan of it. But anyway, in the end, it was the Julia putting the dark octopus on Harley Cameron. So Harley Cameron did all that stuff and still lost, so there was no point.
No point.
Yeah, if she was just going to lose anyway, they might as well just not had her stick to the comedy spots and everything. But yeah,
backwards, remember backwards?
Backwards. Well, I'm telling them. They tried to sneak it by me. I caught them. I'm letting them know they were caught. That's my job.
Right.
Your job is to have a good match.
Right. And what
you
happened?
didn't do it. You had a bad match. So apparently not as bad as fucking FTR and the Undisputed Kingdom that I didn't watch, but
well, are you trying to say that we felt the wrath watching this?
A little bit. I mean, if you're a Harley Cameron fan, you probably enjoyed it, but maybe hopefully ironically, because even a fan of hers should know that that's not her role.
No, but she's got a role in this company, according to Tony, for whatever reason.
Yeah, she's got a role. Her role is to tap out to the Dark Octopus while Athena guards the ring so that Mercedes can't come in and break it up. So Harley had no choice but to tap.
There's the octopus.
There it is.
Oh, man. If only we had ink, like octopus or squid ink. You know what I mean? So
What
that
would we
way
do with
they
it?
can permanently get covered in ink. I've seen that happen.
Actually,
by the way.
wasn't Dark Julia doing exactly that?
I guess she
used
was.
to spit. Didn't her and Malachi used to spit that all over people?
Allegedly, they used to, but now Malachi is nowhere to be found anymore, apparently, and no more ink. They've ran out. She tried though with the octopus move.
Or like,
but,
or like Lab Rat said, that's on TNA because they had Jonathan Gresham literally doing an ink gimmick, and then they abandoned it.
Oh, really? They really were?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like if you
It's
wrestled
octopus.
Jonathan Gresham, you would get sick and start hacking up black ink.
Oh, no shit. Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. So I
And then
wasn't
they just
thinking
one day
out the
they just
box.
decided we're not doing that.
I wonder why.
Who knows?
Well, Joan Hall says ink ain't cheap, pal.
He's right about that. But
You just
you
gotta
don't
get
really
some
need
squids,
real
Joan.
ink.
Yeah.
Cry me a river.
Not real glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, cry me a river.
Cough me up a river. Black river.
Shit.
So, anyways, that's it.
That's it. Thank God. Under 2 hours. We did it. Oh, man. This was a bad week, but Collision was better than Dynamite for sure.
It sure was.
But they go back to front because it always ends kind of shit, really. But it is what it is. And that means we've got 5 hours of Dynasty tonight, and I'm excited. Really excited. Yeehaw. Hey, you just quietly, Vet, before we go, you notice your internet just fixed itself?
I did. I didn't want to jinx it, so.
I don't, neither did I. But since we're at the end, I'll say it now. So it doesn't matter if it fucks up or not. But maybe it's better now.
Let's hope.
Let's hope. Not cope, though.
Not cope.
Just want to hope.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Vet, in saying that, man, tell them what you're doing. And as a matter of fact, I'm hoping you're playing Fatal Fury today. Because I want to play you this time. I'm awake.
The beta's over, Jimmy. It's over.
Ah, damn it. Here I go again. So what are you playing?
I believe I'll be playing a new game. It's so new that it hasn't even really released yet. It's called
What's that?
South of Midnight.
South of Midnight?
South of Midnight.
Sounds like a wrestling move.
It probably is.
Yeah. What's that about,
Harley
actually?
Cameron's probably going to use it to beat somebody that she shouldn't beat.
The South of Midnight.
So,
shit.
yeah, I'll be playing that on twitch.tv/OpinionHaver. OpinionHaver on all your favorite social media platforms. Check out tomorrow night as we record this now. Brandon and myself will be on the Impact Attack, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, talking about TNA, and Brandon will be doing, I think he's planning to do a Dynasty watch along tonight. So if you want to watch
join him,
Dynasty,
actually.
join him for that, then go right ahead. You know where, HMG, YouTube, and Twitch. So if you want to hang out, go ahead and do that there. Wednesday, of course, Next Level Wrestling Review. 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. Big Ray and Hernandez and I talk about NXT wrestling. So, there's a nice crossover between TNA and NXT sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, so I'm on both sides of that fence. So, you got that. There will be no Wrestling with Rip Rogers this week. There will be, but you can still catch the episode with Rob Van Dam in the archives if you would like. Stevie Richards, new episode, all about what was it about? He still talked a little bit more about that damn December to Dismember pay-per-view, along with other things. He also talked about something to do with something that happened on Maven's channel where he confronted
Just Incredible.
Yeah, confronted Just Incredible about some things. So, you want to check that out? Hear Stevie's thoughts on that.
And he buried himself just quietly. There's a preview. I'm talking about Just Incredible, but yeah.
Right. Then you got them breaking down the latest John Cena promo or whatever. So another packed Stevie Richards show. Great show. Check it out, please. Over 100,000 subscribers. Congratulations. Next person that we need to get to 100,000 besides ourselves, of course, is Timmy Baltimore. Limpin' Ain't Easy. Just episode with EC3. Great conversations there. EC3 is a very interesting guy, just like he always has been.
Yeah.
So go check out their conversation. Limpin' Ain't Easy. Like, subscribe, click the bell, yada, yada, yada. You know how all that stuff goes. And that is just about it for me, Jimmy.
Oh, well, when it comes to me, if you like your WWE Raw, well, that means it's called I Like a Raw with myself. And, of course, Big Ray Hernandez, Tuesday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern. I got to get used to, because today, actually, Vet, we went back an hour because our daylight savings ended. So luckily I was on the ball and knew we got to start an hour earlier than usual. So instead of starting at 2 tonight, I started at 1 a.m. and which is earlier than usual. So that means 10 a.m. Tuesday mornings, me and Big Ray Hernandez, of course, talking all things Monday Night Raw. And then you got the Smack Attack with myself and this past week, or yesterday as a matter of fact, and the Professor Chibello, yeah, Vera Cruz, which was a great show. Thank you once again, Prof, if you're listening, for joining me. But next week, it should be back to normal with myself and R to the B to the V. So look out for that. And of course, this very show every week, Sunday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern, Wreckage with myself and the best in the world. And that's about it. So in saying that, Vet, I think it's time we call it a day because it is the morning. I am Jimmy T. That is the best in the world, Jamie the Vet Williams. And you've been listening and watching the
Wreckage.
Wreckage. Did you just say Wreckage?
Wreckage.
The Wreckage. We're Italiano now.
Is it the Wreckage?
It's the Wreckage. And also,
Mamma
like
mia.
and subscribe. Yeah, Mamma Mia. Like us. Oh, are you going to get the Switch 2, by the way? What a ripoff, bro.
I wasn't going to get it no matter what it cost.
That's fucking ridiculous.
It could have
The
been
price-
$100 taped to a ham sandwich and I wouldn't have bought it.
Damn, even taped to a ham sandwich?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Well, that makes two of us. I don't know. We'll see. But he's saying that, yeah. Like and subscribe right here at Hamin Media Group's YouTube channel. And, of course, channelattitude.com with $5. Not only do you get the realest talk, but the best talk in all of pro wrestling. And that's it. In saying that, we'll see you next week. Thank you to everyone that's joined us. And we're out. Peace.
This is Channel Attitude. Your voice, your right, your freedom.